Hey, what's up guys, Jake Whip here back for another video, and today we're going to be making this awesome light rays effect inside of Davinci Resolve. And now this is completely 3D, and it is not 2D at all, so you guys can use multiple lights and a bunch of other cool stuff like that, and I'll show you guys all how to do that in just a second. This can all be achieved inside of the free version of Davinci Resolve. So now, let's jump right into making this video. I'm just going to go into Fusion and come into my second light rays clip, which you can make just by right-clicking a new Fusion composition. Alright, so now we got a blank Fusion composition, and what we're going to do first is grab our shape. So this is going to be the ground plane, so I can just name this ground. That's F2 on your keyboard. And let's just grab a merge right away, plug that in, and then view this. And now if we come off to the side here, as you can see, we have a ground plane. And now if we view this, as you can see, we have a ground plane. So let's come into the ground plane, come over to the transform, and put -90 on the X. Come down to the size and set that to 10. Alright, that's looking good. And now we're going to grab the text. So let's just grab the text 3D node and put in light rays to this. Alright, so there we go. Now let's come down to the extrusion and add an extrusion depth. Something we can do is over in the viewer window here, right click, go to 3D options, and then hit shadows. By clicking shadows, it'll also enable the lighting. So there we go. And now we can just kind of see everything a little bit better here. Let's just drag my ground plane down and my text node up just so we have some more room around the merge. And grab a camera, plug that in. And we can also grab a render 3D. Alright, so now if we view the render 3D, or we can put it into the media out and view that, we can grab the camera and then just drag it back. Set the angle of view in the camera to 45 degrees. And now we can just bring this back in. And I'll just drag it up, just like that. Now we're going to work on the lighting. So in the render, let's enable lighting and shadows, okay? And now let's grab the spotlight. That's going to be used as the position that the rays are going to come from. So let's plug that in. And now we will come over to the transform and check use target. Before we pick the position of that, let's grab a shape. So bring another shape down, plug that in, and change this to sphere. Now if we come into the spotlight and pin this, we're going to come into the shape, go over to the transform, and under the translation, right click on the X and hit expression, and drag that down onto the X in the spotlight, and then do this to all of the translation values. Okay, so we got that done, and now what we're going to do is go over to the controls tab in the spotlight and the material tab in the shape. And now if we right click on the red, hit expression, bring it down, and connect it up just like that. We're going to do this for all the colors. Alright, there we go. So let's unpin the spotlight. And now if I grab my spotlight here and drag it back, as you can see, it'll always be facing the light rays, or wherever the target is. So if I were to move the target back and forth, it would change the direction in which it's facing. And now the sphere is always going to be following where the spotlight is. One more thing is inside of the sphere, let's uncheck lighting and shadows, okay? So now we're going to just add like an ambient light. So do shift space and type directional light, okay? And now if we plug this right on in, we can just drag this out. I'm going to bring it up off to the side, and we can add just like a little bit of rotation to it. Something like that, okay? And now we'll just bring the intensity way down to something very subtle, okay? Something kind of like that. Next, we're going to start working on the rays. So how we're going to be doing this is using the locator tool. So what the locator tool does is it takes the 3D coordinates and it translates it to 2D coordinates. So wherever the shape is here, it will tell me where the 2D coordinates of that are. So how we do that is we have it coming out of the merge into the scene input, okay? And then we grab the target, which is going to be the spotlight, and we'll put that into the green input. So I'll show you how to do it now. So we're going to be using the rays effect to do the light rays, okay? And I know what you might be thinking, this is the 2D effect. But since we have the locator, it can be integrated with the 3D stuff. So let's come up to the center, right click, do connect to, and as you can see, we have the locator 3D, and we can just do position. And now, wherever the spotlight is, that's where the rays will be coming from. So now let's come and adjust this. So this is way too bright. So let's just add like a little less decay, just so the rays are a little longer, and bring the weight down, the exposure down. So something a little more like that. And then in the spotlight, we can adjust the color of the rays right here. They will always need to have one color at 1. So as you can see, if I bring it down at all, it will no longer have the rays. So as long as one of the colors is at 1, the rays will work just fine. So let's say you guys don't like this like pink ray that's coming onto the ground plane that's being casted from the spotlight. And the way to fix this is come into the ground plane, go to the style, and then come to the specular and bring that all the way to black. So specular is like where the highlights are, the bright highlights, and that's what that would be. So the next step is drag down a background node, connect this up after the rays, and then do Control T to make it so it's the background. Now we'll come into the spotlight and go to the first frame and add keyframes on all the translation values and drag it off to the side. And then go to the last frame and drag them all the way off to this side, and we'll have to bring it back in. So just like so. So now if we were to play this animation, as you can see the light rays are moving with our sphere. Let's come up into the spline editor, drag the spotlight over and hit zoom to fit. Okay, and then I like to zoom out a little bit, but that's personal preference. Then select them all, and then hit F on your keyboard, and hit T, and you can adjust the ease in values and ease out values. Alright, so here we go, we have the animation rendered out, and that's looking pretty good. You guys can go through and adjust all the other settings that you'd like. That is it for this tutorial. If you guys enjoyed, please give it a like, comment down below if you guys have any questions. Make sure to go over to my Patreon page so you guys can support me to get a bunch of cool stuff. I will have this setting file available on my Patreon page so you guys do not have to go through to make the effect yourself. All you have to do is come in and adjust it to your liking. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and turn on the bells so that you get notifications whenever I upload another video, and I'll see you guys next time for another video.